Welcome to our presentations for the 2021 the Polk Street Review. We will be beginning our live readings and art presentations and awards in about 12 minutes. So stick around. You may join us live on Zoom or right here on Facebook.
We're so excited to do this. This has been a year in the making. We should probably say that. It's an annual project that we do at Community Education Arts, and part of our project includes a lot of podcast discussions with lots of different artists and about different things, arts related, and of course, the annual book, the Polk Street Review. And so February is always our publication month. So we've been working on this book since last February, and now it's time for a new book launch. So
and something
exciting.
that I know that I've always loved about the Polk Street Review, even before you and I took over the editing back when I was a contributor, is
Right.
So often we as artists and writers are solitary creatures.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so nice to be able to gather with other writers and creators and kind
Yeah.
of form that little family just for one evening even.
Yeah, one evening. We have always done a one evening presentation, and I think I've said every single year that since we took over the project, I've said every single year that I wish we could just devote an entire, day or weekend or whatever it would take so that every single person that submits and gets published in our book could present their work. Because what we do for the book launch is we just select, a few presentations to represent all aspects of what's in the book, and it's a very hard choice to make who presents, because that gives those authors, the writers of prose poetry, the artists who produce photography or artwork images, and the songwriters, it gives them a feature at the book launch. And it's so hard to make that decision, because I say this every year, every single thing that we publish deserves to be presented in person, or at least in Zoom or something, to the public. So all we can say is buy the book, because that's the best way to see everything, right? To experience the publication. But you mentioned that you were a contributor before we took over the publication as a 501c3, when our 501c3 took over the publication in 2016 with the publication of the 2017 edition. Before that, it was published by a couple of local authors, Bill Kenley and Kurt Meyer, and you and I both contributed, to prior editions of it, and it was always so much fun, and we kind of got to know different people through that. But that's not how you and I met. But it's interesting that we both contributed to past works and didn't really know. Hey, there's Jenny. Our first guest has arrived. Yay!
And as she connects to audio,
You
hi Jenny.
You could turn your audio on and say hi. Sarah E., why don't you go ahead and start the scrolling of the
Oh, absolutely, I can do that.
it's close. I mean, it's 5:51. It's close enough. What we're going to have in the background while people join the Zoom meeting is we're going to show all the artwork that is published in the book this year. Hi, Patrick. Hi, Jenny. The Kalahars are in the house. Yay! You guys can unmute. We're just chatting right now. If you wanna say hi or anything. I know, Jenny. I know you're having problems with your voice, and Sarah E is going to read your poem tonight. So we're just so happy you guys could be with us.
I am honored always to read a Jenny Kalahar poem.
I know that we were just talking about all the different submissions and what we publish in the book, and how hard it is to pick what's going to be presented at book launches, because everything in the book is so wonderful. And all of the stuff that we get from all the authors and artists and songwriters is just always, it just blows me away every year to see the talent that is in and around our area and beyond our area. Because although the Polk Street Review started as, a kind of a local Noblesville, Indiana project, since we've taken it over, it's kind of grown and you know, gone beyond what I think Sarah E. or I could have even imagined or dreamed it could. And we do receive some submissions from all over the world. So that's fun. So what you're seeing right now, you Facebook and people out there, is all the artwork that we received that got published. And so these are this slideshow that you're seeing. Sarah E. put this together, and it's just fabulous because you can see the details of the paintings and the photographs and everything, and you can see the titles and who the artists are. And I feel like I've said this a million times, and I'll just keep saying it. We love to have artwork about every 2 to 3 text, poem, prose, whatever. We like to have artwork interspersed. And so it's kind of cool to have such unique and wonderful pieces of artwork in the book this year. Warren is in the house. Hi, Warren.
Hi, Warren. Glad to have you here.
And
we have
here's
Leah here.
Leah. Hi, Leah. You guys can,
Welcome.
I wanted to tell you guys, you can unmute for our little chit-chatty part right now if you want to say hi or anything like that. We do have a chat box going that I hope you guys can all see. I am not going to have the chat box up on my screen, so if you direct something to either Sarah E. or me, you better direct it to Sarah E. because I won't see it. I feel like I'm limited in my technological savvy. So.
I'm going to very quickly, Alice, just make sure that Spike's all logged on so we can
Yes,
monitor the chat,
yes,
and I'll
and
be right back.
while you're doing that, I will thank him for what he's doing for us tonight. So for this book launch, Sarah E.'s husband, Spike Morn Wilson, you guys know him, I'm sure. He is kind of manning our Facebook Live component of this because I very quickly realized that I did not know how to be hosting a Zoom meeting and kind of be answering comments and chatting in Facebook. So I was like, I can't do that. So Spike very kindly volunteered to kind of man the Facebook Live element of our book launch this year. So yay, Spike, thank you. And as far as we know, the Facebook Live is just gonna run. I don't have it up on a screen. It's just running. So somebody else joined. Let me scroll down. There's Marlene and Chuck. Hi, Marlene Million and Chuck Kellum. If you guys want to unmute and say hi, we're just doing introductory hellos and welcoming everybody that's joining us. I'm so happy you guys can make it tonight. Sarah E. is here with us. She's just checking in with Spike about manning the Facebook Live part of the video.
Just made it back.
Oh, great, because Spike offered to do that for us. So, and what you're seeing is Sarah E. put together a wonderful slideshow of all the artwork that we published this year, and which is really nice because our book, as you guys know, is 7x9. It's a smaller book. And so to see these images in a slightly larger format is really nice. So Sarah E., thank you so much for doing that. It looks great.
It was my pleasure to put it together. And I'm not sure if you're getting the names cut off, but the previous picture was also Andrea Hayden.
Oh yeah, I gotta say, every year that we've put this book out, we get the most incredible artwork from different people. And I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, we had one artist who sent in an entire series of portraits of, women of Noblesville portraits. And we've had lots of different writers who are also artists contribute both artwork and written things. And Andrea's artwork is just fabulous. We had such good artwork from Andrea and Audrey, and oh my gosh, I shouldn't try to list names because I'll forget somebody. But so many people sent in really good stuff. And peppered throughout the book is always some of my artwork because, like I said, I like to have artwork about every 2 to 3 written pieces. And so sometimes, we get more written pieces than we do artwork. And so I end up using some of my own to kind of, put it in there just to make it an easy read, because you read 2 or 3 poems and prose pieces and you're ready for a visual break, right? That's the kind of book it is. So, that's my way of encouraging everybody to always send us artwork. Whether you think you're an artist or not, we want your artwork.
You say that very humbly, but I like your art being in there, Alice.
Oh,
So
thank you.
delighted to
You're
get that.
very, very sweet. You're very, very sweet. Oh, my son John has joined us. John's in the house. Yay.
Welcome, John.
Mhm.
Hello.
And hello. So we're just what you're seeing, I was telling everybody, is just all the artwork that we published this year. It's all fabulous and it's fun to look at. So
I
we're just
apologize, Sandra, for misspelling your name there. That
oh
was my doing.
yeah. I might have had it wrong in the information I sent you. Oh, that looks yummy.
I know
That's
you are so
my-
good. I love you.
yeah. And this is the second year that we asked for people to send in recipes. So we're still trying to drum up business for recipes, like family recipes or things like that. And so we did get a few, and I have a feeling as the years go forward, we'll get more and more recipes. We consider those prose pieces, but but it's great. It's fun to have a recipe included every now and then. And there's Doug Church. Oh, Doug, I'm so happy to see you. This is
Welcome.
Alice, and Doug Church is one of our longtime supporters. And I just want to thank you so much for all of the support that you give the Polk Street Review. We really appreciate when local people like you continue to support us. I hope the books arrived. I'm never sure with the mail what's going on, but no, not to disparage the mail because it's been doing a good job. But hopefully you got those and we're able to enjoy them. What we're seeing right now is just we have some images of all the artwork that we published this year. So this is kind of just our little introductory welcome everybody time. Sarah E.
I also,
yeah, go ahead.
sorry to interrupt you, Alice, but I do want to encourage you to use the chat box, cheer each other on throughout
Sure.
this.
Mhm.
As we do presentations, feel free to put
Hey,
little encouraging
Bonnie.
comments in there. Because one of the things that's always been great about the book launch is that feeling of, hey, we're writers, we're creators, we're actually here and not alone in our studios, alone at our desks
Right,
writing, we're
right.
together. So
Yeah.
that wonderful feeling of encouragement, as much as we can emulate it on Zoom, we would love
Yeah.
to do so.
Yes, and welcome Bonnie and welcome George. We're so happy that you guys are with us tonight.
Welcome.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited. Everybody's joining. It's really, this is oh, by the way, I should probably warn everybody, this is our very first time to take one of our Zoom workshops, presentation events, something like that, live on Facebook. So, Sarah E.'s husband Spike is kind of manning our live Facebook video presence for us to make sure that we're not messing anything up, and he's there to interact with our Facebook audience. But we are so happy that you guys are all joining us here to do our little I call it a little book launch because, as you know, in the past our book launches have been 2.5, 3 hours long. This is going to be about an hour long. Where if we can stick to our schedule, it's going to be about an hour long, and we're really excited to just boom, 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 zoom it out there to everybody. Ellie Payne, welcome, welcome. Is that Michelle? Okay, Michelle. Mish.
Let me update that. Yeah, my daughter's been on here.
Okay. I was like, wait a minute. I know that face, but that does not match the name. So
Right.
welcome, welcome. We're so happy you can make it tonight.
Thank you.
Everything okay, Sarah E?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
just making sure everything's connected so we don't run out of power in the middle of it.
I know. Isn't it funny how we have become so dependent, even more dependent on technology in a way, I think. I don't know what I would have done this past year without Zoom, that's for sure. We've got more people coming in. I got to scroll down and see who to say hello to.
It feels like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and there's just people
I
coming
know.
through there. Howdy, neighbor.
There's George Wiley. Welcome, George Wiley. And Susan Kreitz? Susan Kreitz. I'm not sure if I know who Susan is. Susan, who are you?
Now, most of you are already on mute, and since it is about 6, I was going to go ahead and launch into some of the formal announcements, if that's okay, Alice.
Yes, go right ahead. So
Okay.
Sarah E's going to mute everybody. You can mute me if you want, or I don't know if you want to mute
I
me.
don't want to mute you,
Okay.
Alice.
You're the first. You're the first who doesn't want to mute me.
Okay. Actually, hang on 1 second. Alice Vamp, I have to answer.
That's okay. Vamp. You want me to vamp? Okay, well, I'll just keep welcoming people. Susan C is Chuck's sister. Okay, thank you. Welcome, Susan C, Chuck's sister. Yay. Sandra, welcome.
Hey, please don't put pictures of food on here because
Are you hungry?
yes,
That's an interesting thing to bring up because normally at our book launches, we put out a spread and we have wine and whatever. And Deborah, I'm so glad to see you have your glass of wine. And I hope I should have put in my email to everybody, hey, be sure you bring your own refreshments because we can't really give you refreshments in Zoom. I guess our food images are what we're giving you for refreshments. And for those of you who don't know, this is only the second year that we have included recipes in the book. And it's really kind of fun to have a recipe with hopefully an image. We tried to ask people if they sent in recipes to include an image. So that was kind of fun. And we're going to keep doing that. I think it's a good addition to the book. How are you doing, Sarah E?
I am ready.
Ooh, perfect timing.
Yes. Thank you for vamping. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Woo.
So thank you everybody for being here. At this time, if we can make sure that we are all on mute, and that is just to make sure that we don't have the sound bleed of, just lots of different background noises. And then if you are a presenter, then we'll ask you to unmute when it's your time to present, and then just to remute yourself when you are finished. And we're so looking forward to seeing different artwork tonight. You see some of it already, and to listening to excerpts from wonderful pieces.
Yes, we're so excited.
Chat box is also being monitored, so feel free to encourage each other on chat box or make comments.
And for those of you
Alice.
I was just gonna say, for those of you who are watching on Facebook, be sure you go ahead and comment and send those hearts and thumbs up to the things that you like. And Spike is there on Facebook to answer any comments and questions that you have there. So yeah, we're ready. We're supposed to introduce ourselves.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm Alice Cavanis Gober, and I'm the president of Community Education Arts. And I'm supposed to tell you about myself and my role in the organization. So that's me and my role in the organization. And for the Polk Street Review, I have to say right from the get-go that anything that's not right in the book is my fault. Sarah E is my co-editor, and she is fabulous, but I am responsible for the layout and the format and getting the manuscript ready for the printer. So if there are any typos or anything like that in the book, that's on me, and I apologize in advance. I think I said it a little while ago. We started publishing this book. We took it over in 2016 with the 2017 edition being published in February 2017. And that became our tradition to publish the book in February. So this is the 2021 edition. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. So Sarah E, your turn.
Yes, so hi everybody, I'm Sarah E. Morin, and I am Secretary of CEArts. I get to help edit the Polk Street Review, and both Alice and I love working on our brainchild, NICE, the
Yes.
Noblesville Interdisciplinary Creativity Expo. And be sure to listen to our podcast at the Roundtable, because we have selected 4 books that we'll be exploring in depth this year, and we would love for you to hear what we selected, then go along on the ride all year. So
Yeah.
The Polk Street Review, did I interrupt you, Alice?
No, I was just going to say that NICE is our other annual project. We have the 2 of them. Yeah. So.
So the Polk Street Review, it was in existence before us, but we took it over in 2016. Our first book was published in 2017. And Polk Street, by the way, was this works out perfectly with this slide. Polk Street is the original name of 8th Street in Noblesville. Our theme this year for the book is family traditions, old and new. Contributors could either write to the theme, but they didn't have to, especially if they were a previous contributor. And we also encourage contributors or pieces to have some kind of connection to Noblesville. But, you know, we have been recently getting contributors from even different countries, which is exciting. Some of them find out about us maybe by following us on social media, or maybe they've connected with us through another event that we do. And so, you know, the celebration of Noblesville has become, you know, even bigger since we've gone online and international.
That's true. That's true. We have just gone crazy with it, right? Now, in the chat, and it's probably a little bit further up. So let me see if I can very quickly come over here. Now it's your turn to vamp for a minute because
You are free to come and go as you need during the presentation. It'll always be the same logon information. We are also recording so that you are aware, because then we'll have a great video to save and share for those who weren't able to join us tonight, and hopefully get your artwork and your creations out there to an even wider audience.
Yes. And okay, so what I was trying to do was put in the chat for you guys, there's the link to, if you want to share how to have people purchase the book, they can purchase it directly from our printer, and that gets a direct printing and shipping directly to the purchaser. So it doesn't have to come to us first, and then we have to, you know, reship it to whoever ordered it. So that's there for anybody who needs more copies. Yay! The more the merrier, right? And then what we want to do now, Sarah E, is I want to screen share. Look at all those people who are here with us. Yay! I am going to play a little video that is our way of thanking our supporters. So let me do this for you.
We just so appreciate all of our partners, our sponsors, all the artists who have contributed. And by artists, I mean, you know, creative artists of any type. So thank all of you for your support and participation.
Yes, and thank you to James. I always got to do another extra shout out to James Weston, our friend James, who gave us that music that we play for our podcast and we play for things like this. And it's just a wonderful little original tune of his, and we just love it. Thank you, James. We love you. All right, so now, without further ado, the moment we've all been waiting for, the announcement of the 2021 The Polk Street Review Awards.
Hooray! Huzzah!
Huzzah.
So, as we have said many times, so many of these pieces, I would say all of them, are deserving of some kind of award and recognition.
It's so hard. It's so hard to pick the awards. It really is.
Mm-hmm. We did select a few though to highlight tonight. And so first off, with our theme, which again was Family Traditions, Old and New, our
Sarah,
theme contest winner.
Sarah E, can I
Yes.
interrupt you before you, right in the middle of the first announcement? I just want to let everybody know that we have a rule that no one on the board or related to the board is eligible for awards. Makes it a little bit easier for us, but not much. So go ahead, Sarah E. Sorry about that.
No. That's a good thing to say, that we're trying to be very fair that way.
Yeah.
Yes, but our best use of theme winner is Vivian Bell.
Yay!
Huzzah! So congratulations. On to our special awards.
Oh, yes.
Our first special award goes to E.A. Wasonga, who we know as Emily. And Emily is owner of LHOC Creations, and we
Yeah,
present.
that's Love's Hangover Creations for those of you who don't know her little logo. Yeah.
Mhm. And so we are presenting a special award to her. She has consistently not only put in thought-provoking pieces, beautifully written pieces, but she has also supported us in this project through fundraising. She did meals to fundraise for
Yeah.
us this year. In the past, when we had live events, maybe by bringing in things, food as a vendor, artwork. She's been a reader many years. She supported us in many ways.
Yes, she's fabulous.
So thank you, Emily.
Yay! Yes.
All right, our next special award goes to Kim Carlson. Congratulations, Kim.
Yay.
Kim is new to the Polk Street Review. This is her first ever submission to the publication, and it shares elements of her journey of healing as a sexual abuse survivor. And so in recognition of that bravery in publicly sharing her story, we really wanted to honor that and acknowledge that and present her with a special award. So
Yes.
thank you, Kim.
Yes, and it's really a wonderful thing that Kim is doing by sharing her story, because one of her main goals in doing that is to give voice and encourage other abuse survivors to find their voice. And so we really felt that this was a perfect person to receive one of our special awards. So congratulations, Kim.
Absolutely, congratulations. For the images category, because now we're into where we divide it into images, prose, and then poetry / song lyrics. We pick out first, second, third, and sometimes honorable mentions. And to do the images, I want you to see the images. So let me do a screen share so you may also see these beautiful images.
And while you're doing that, I'll just say welcome to everybody else who's joined us. Try to get a look at all the names of the people who are here, and I'm so happy that you're all here, that you're joining in. And Sarah E. is going to share the images of our image category winners this year.
Yes, excellent vamping as I find the correct screen.
I know. I told everybody this is the first time we've been Facebook Live, but this is about the third time we've done really a lot of screen sharing. So bear with us while we're getting our screen sharing going.
All right, I am almost there and hitting
All right.
all the magic
As
buttons.
much as we use Zoom for our podcast recordings and everything, it still takes a lot of clicks to get something to roll.
All right, we're ready to roll. The images category. In third place, we have Alcohol Ink Mugs by Andrea Hayden.
Those are fabulous, and I love the fact that she makes the mugs and she took this fabulous photograph of them. It's like 2 arts in one. So congratulations, Andrea, and thank you for sending in all the images that you sent in. They're just wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, such a wide range. We appreciated that. In second place, we have Untitled 2 by Audrey Barcio. Congratulations.
Yes, we love Audrey's work this year. Her paintings, the detail, these are all large format paintings, and the texture detail in them may not come out in the print version in the book, but I think you can even see some of that texture even in a Zoom presentation. So they're fabulous. Thank you, Audrey.
And in first place, Man on the Pier, George Wiley.
Yay, George. Yay. We just love this photo. It almost had a surreal quality to it, and with our theme, Family Traditions Old and New, in the which when we picked the theme, we had no idea how pertinent that would be with COVID-19 and everything. But this guy on the pier with his mask down, feeling, nobody's around him, and yet it's ready for him to pull up at any moment. We just thought this was a fabulous photo. It just had a really good sense of, he looks comfortable and yet isolated, and there was just something about that we just loved. So congratulations, George Wiley, for first place in our images category.
Excellent. On to the prose category. Honorable mention, A Key Wrapped Up in a Mystery Inside a Nash Rambler by Bonita Cox Searle.
Yay, Bonnie! I gotta say, when Sarah E. read the title to the piece, she just loved the title so much. She's like, that's a great title. I'm like, wait till you read the piece.
Congratulations. In third place, Traditions Passed Down from a Galaxy Far, Far Away by Leah
Yay!
Leach.
Yay, Leah. Leah is also a first-time contributor, I can't speak tonight, to the Polk Street Review, and I hope that you will continue to contribute. I just loved this piece. We both did. We thought it was great, so thank you for sending it in.
In second place prose category, Kitchen Table by Deborah Peterson.
Yay, Deborah. As always, Deborah writes beautiful poetry. We loved this piece. Now, I should tell you guys that there's a reason we're not showing the poems. We want you to have the book. You have your books, you buy your books, you get to see the poems.
And in first place prose category, Rites of Passage by Patrick Gallagher.
Yay, Patrick. Congratulations. Patrick, first time submitting to the Polk Street Review, and you win first prize in the prose category. I don't know. I think that means you're a pretty good writer.
And may I say that I'm glad that we are joined by good supporters today, not just your wife, but your dog. Wonderful. Excellent job. On to the poetry/song lyrics category. Our honorable mention, Caretaker's Melody by Jenny Callahar.
Yay, Jenny. Congratulations. What a great poem.
In third place, The Loneliness of His Discontent by George Wiley.
Way to go, George. That was such a good poem. We really, really appreciated it so much.
In second place, The Crepe Myrtle by Michael J. Stroessel, who I believe is joining us as he's driving. So
As he's driving, yeah, so don't take your hands off that wheel, Mike. I got to tell you, I loved this poem. This was just really one of my favorite poems in the entire book. So thank you so much for sending it in.
And in first place in the poetry song lyrics category, Thanksgiving Ghost by Benita Cox Searle.
Yay, Bonnie. Bonnie, this was just such a beautiful poem. It just was gorgeous. And I think it is going to reach a lot of people. And I think they're going to relate to it and feel it. And it certainly made an impression on me. So I just loved it so much. Thank you so much for sending it in.
Excellent. We do also have an award for, we call it the Award of Merit. It's the best in book. So of all the entries of any genre in the book, we did pick one that we thought stood out the most. And this year that award goes to Ode to the Comet Neowise by George W. Wolfe.
Yay, George. George, I want to say, is this year your first time submitting to the Polk Street Review? You submitted last year, didn't you? Yeah. Okay.
I won a prize last year.
I thought you did, but I'm always afraid to say things when my memory is like a leaky sieve. But
Second year.
This poem really, Award of Merit, we're always looking for something that kind of is going to stick with you. It's something that we feel that people will relate to, people will get some emotional reaction that stays with them. And we really felt like this poem does that. And I will tell everybody that we have asked George to read this at the end of our presentation, so you will hear this poem out loud. And also, again, with the whole COVID-19 thing, which we really didn't anticipate being part of our experience this past year while we were putting this book together, while all of you guys were working on your submissions and everything, this poem really jumped out at us as tip-top number one. So 2021 Award of Merit, George Wolfe. Yay!
Well done, and well done, everyone.
Well done, everyone. Yes. Oh my goodness. And now, without further ado, it is time for us to ask our presenters to give us a taste of what's in the book. And I am going to be your MC for the presentations. So first up, this is so funny, but I asked Sarah E. to start off our presentations with her one submission this year called Green Santa. It's a poem. And so Sarah E., you get to unmute yourself and go first.
Excellent. And by the way, I did just put the order of presentations in the chat box, so that way if you are presenting tonight, you can be ready with the selection Alice sent you, and you'll just know what's coming next.
Yeah.
But without further ado, Green Santa. Trees, unending trees, sprouted in his front yard each December. The naive shoppers believed the farmer sowed pine cones on Thanksgiving, and they grew overnight, instead of being painstakingly planted, fertilized, shaped, chainsawed, hauled in the rough-hewn wagon by his 6 strapping pork-fed Hoosier sons, and tied with fraying twine to metal stakes. He never disillusioned the city folk with the mundane recipe of dirt, sweat, time, and luck. Let his customers believe he was Santa in John Deere green insulated overalls, a round-bellied wonder worker, perhaps his reindeer off grazing in the pasture with the Herefords and Black Angus. Even a plain Indiana farmer yearns for magic.
Yay. Can you tell us your dedication to that? Just.
Yes, the dedication is to my grandpa, who ran a Christmas tree farm for many decades, and he got the reputation of being the Green Santa.
I love that. Oh, so thank you so much for that. Okay, next up, we're going to have 2 short poems from John Cavanis. Now, as you guys know, John is my son. This is the first time he has sent us poems, and he worked on poetry for the whole year, it seems like. But John, take it away with Sweet and Sour and the Light of the Moon, and if you want to tell everybody a little bit about your poetry group, that would be great too.
Can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Awesome. Me and a few friends over the course of the quarantine started meeting up to just write together, share ideas, and kind of play off each other's creativity. And here are a couple of the things that came out of it. So starting off, Sweet and Sour. Not every taste is by the tongue. Some experiences are sugar at the start and acidic in the end. To have both at once is key. Sour Patches, Skittles, true love.
Yay.
And then the Light of the Moon. Lazily rise, O ball of light and night. Wash over the land and sea gleaming. Flit and fleet about the shadows in spite. Chart your course through the sky unending. Calmly rejoice, O awakened beasts nocturnal. Scour your territories in caches heaping. Fight and escape your enemies infernal. Take your time, the night is retreating. Lazily fall, O blemished mother of night. Rest, wash over the land and sea far-reaching. Wax and wane from the sun in spite. Chart the next course through the sky awaiting.
Yay! Thank you, John, for sharing those with us, and thank you for submitting your poems this year. It was our pleasure to publish. They really were. I didn't even know he was writing poems. Next up, okay, I'm so excited about this one. Chuck Kellum is going to read Keeping in Touch. Chuck, are you ready? Where are you?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. With all the attention that was paid in the past year to the human need for proximity and physical contact, I submitted a couple of touch-related poems for this edition of the Polk Street Review. I made the touch of greeting and goodbye specifically for this submission, but this poem is from a number of years ago after reconnecting on Facebook with a friend from college whom I hadn't talked to for about 30 years. It has 3 sections that are numbered. Keeping in touch. 1. Facebook feeds me daily news, complete with pictures and conflicting views, all from sources whom I choose. Most are friends, but some aren't really, and most hold back, though some share freely and often. I want a bridge across the gulf. Oh, this is 2. I want a bridge across the gulf of time and place and other self. Online friends most days can help. But in the end, it's face to face, and hand in hand in times of place, with back and forth and give and take, where memories form at equal pace to know each other well. 3. I miss you, my dear friend.
Mm.
That's it.
Yay. Chuck, I just love that. I think that's very poignant, and it's just a great poem. Thank you for reading it.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, Patrick Callahar sent us, like we said in the awards, his first submission to our publication ever, and it's titled Rites of Passage. It's a prose piece. It's a little bit longer than some of the others, so we asked him to do an excerpt of it, which we know will just, make you guys all want to buy more books and share it with everybody. Patrick, we just loved this piece, but take it away with your excerpt and share some of Rites of Passage with us.
Okay, thank you very much. It's kind of a full circle. It's like a lot of writers, the material is elements of autobiography and elements of family history and then stuff just made up. But my father was a volunteer in World War II. He volunteered before the draft, and he went to basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia. And he was one of the very first in what barracks they built because they knew World War II was coming.
Oh.
And when I was in the infantry, I went to basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia, and also was in the same World War II barracks, one of the last groups that went through before those barracks were torn down. So it's kind of full circle, and the things about the reunion are things that I experienced at a big family reunion, an annual family reunion, and things that would have happened in my father's time as a child. So all the little details are all authentic, and there's some really unusual stuff in the story that someone that was really steeped in the history of it would notice, but others might not. So they can be just little cookies for people to look into, like the OHIO that were painted like graffiti on walls. And I'll just say it doesn't stand for Ohio. So if someone wants to look into the history, that's an actual thing. Okay, here's the excerpt from Rites of Passage. Because of a slight injury, I'm sitting alone in one of the recently built basic training barracks of Fort Benning, Georgia, while the rest of my company of recruits are still training in the field. I think of red dust and red mud, the taste of it, the smell of it, the grit of it in my teeth, in my eyes, under my fingernails, and between my toes. As I sit alone in the barracks and consider the future, my thoughts keep returning to the past. I feel very young in this moment and in danger of fading away, lost and forgotten in the present terrors, unless I grasp and hold tightly to every memory. It is the summer of 1933, and I am 11 years old. My dog and I are walking down the main street of Royalton, a small village surrounded by farms, including the one I live on. On the main street and the square formed around it are the courthouse, the biggest building in the whole county, the old jail, and nearly all the businesses. There are more horses and wagons than cars, and some of the stores are closed and boarded because of the Depression. Each store window has the same small patriotic NRA poster in the window, even the closed stores. I don't know exactly what it means, but I hear my father and other men say it means recovery. Inside every open business is a portrait that says, "Our new president, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He is going to save the country," I hear the adults say, even the Republicans. My father writes stories for the weekly newspaper, and he and my mother and me, and Zip, of course, live on my grandfather's farm. We're in town to buy supplies for the big Connaught family reunion, The whole extended Connaught family comes each summer from all over the country for the celebration. For a lot of them in these Depression years, it is the only thing they spend money on that is not an absolute necessity. Last year, a strange old man, very thin and shy, came all the way from the west coast of Ireland. He was one of my grandfather's uncles, and he was a priest. My father said he speaks mostly Gaelic, some English, and enough Latin to say the Mass and read from the Bible and the prayer book. He constantly smoked cigarettes that he rolled himself and drank Irish whiskey, neat, poured when anybody offered into a shot glass that he kept in the pocket of his clerical jacket. Zip and I dozed peacefully on the trip back from town to the farm, then spent the rest of the day and evening doing chores for whoever asked, whenever they could find us. We stayed hidden as much as possible. The big day dawned and the whole farm was bustling. The farmhouse and the barn were packed with close relatives, and the fields were filled with tents. The rich people, relatively speaking, stayed in boarding houses or hotels in Indianapolis, or drove their cars all night or early in the morning. My family arranged the tables and chairs and everything, and those living the closest supplied most of the food. The women and my father and grandfather were up well before dawn preparing food and refreshments, and the men slaughtered a pig and chickens for the big open fire roast. Pretty much all the men brought their own whiskey. The whole crowd, except some of the in-laws, were Irish after all. No one ever seemed to know who started it, but a few men always passed the hat, and everything from dimes to $20 bills were dropped in while all eyes turned skyward, taking great interest in the trees and the clouds. There were games and loud and raucous conversations punctuated with flailing arms and jabbing fingers, lewd and vulgar jokes, some anti-clerical, as only the Irish, that most Catholic of people could tell them, accompanied by almost hysterical laughter, like the din of Bedlam, as my Aunt May, who was a retired nun, would often say. These stories and jokes were always permitted because they were told with such charm and dancing eyes that no one could take offense. I rarely took part directly in any of the activities, content to listen and observe. There were two men that I particularly noticed all through the morning. They were clearly not relatives or part of the happy throng. They shook hands and talked with many of the men, but never when any women were around. Their gestures were secretive, and their smiles were tight and thin-lipped and never reached their darting eyes. I moved as close as I dared to listen and watch what was going on. The relatives all knew who I was and took no notice. The two strangers did notice, but clearly sized me up as no threat. I was 11 years old after all. They were talking Irish politics, and I heard things like Sinn Féin and IRA and Provos and death to all the black and tans and all the collaborators who were still in Ireland. Then one of my relatives looked around and handed one of the strangers a huge wad of money, and the stranger put it in his inside pocket of his suit. When he did so, I was almost sure I saw a gun in a shoulder holster. I acted like I was totally bored, kicked at a couple of rocks, and as casually as I could, I walked away, pretending to look for something more interesting. Just when I thought my encounter with the IRA was going to be the highlight of the reunion, if they didn't kill me, that is, I literally bumped into a girl who was about my age and very pretty. I'd seen her a number of times in the morning, and every time she looked in my direction, I was sure she smiled. But each time I quickly looked away, convinced she was looking at someone else, or that she smiled at everyone.
Thank you, Patrick. That was fabulous. That was fabulous. Excuse me. Oh, I'm not supposed to cough. Okay, I am sort of presenting the next piece in a screen share because it is Emily Wasanga's She Is Salve, which is a poem that she wrote. She made a fabulous video, so I'm going to put that on our screen share. Can you guys see it?
Ellis, I'm not getting sound.
Oh, hold on. Sound is on. That's not good. Hold on a minute. Let's try it now.
Nothing yet. At the top of your screen share where there's the tab,
Oh,
you see
right.
the little dot, dot, dot.
Yeah.
There might be a drop down option for share video sound.
Why did I not remember that? Share sound. I knew that. Why, we tested that, Sarah E.
We've had a lot of living to do before since then.
No, we tested that. I can't believe I forgot. Okay, I'm muting myself and starting it again. Sorry about that, folks.
She is Solve. She says things that make me want to grab a pen and write again. She talks and uses terms like the history of women in sentences, or inspires me to title pieces as Girl Child Raised by a Rebel Man. She talks of being useful to more than just ourselves and our immediate family. She is familiar with the necessity of duty when afforded life. She talks of how things were when she was a child. She shares what it was like to imagine being a woman then. Education was simply to make women interesting spouses. The way the sun rose in her days was very different. We are a decade and some change apart in years. The changes that came about between her birth and mine makes me want to call certain groups of mankind to a press conference and announce how rapidly Africa grows and becomes. But that is a war for another day. She makes me feel safe in my difference because we share what it's like for both of us. She makes me feel like I have an ally in a world that is busy doing things and not asking why. She makes my spirit as tall as our ancestors were when they lived in the North. I always pray that those who changed state and left before us, as well as the universe that allowed us, surround her and keep her well for many, many, many more moons. My nakedness is safe in these gardens with her. And even if she were to disappear, because most of the people that happen upon my life are seasonal or spread across too much of the earth, I would still be able to keep going from the amount of everything she has poured into me. She empowers me not just for her company and for this time. She empowers my tomorrows and the tomorrows of my children as well. When I am with her, we become more and more of what the earth needs. She is Solve. With her, women aren't just misunderstandings, gossip, and unbalanced deeds. With her, women have sense. Women understand and pursue purpose. Women can and are rebels, clothed in peace and the truthfulness of God that got lost between prophets and organized religion. I am grateful to have met her by blood and to have remained with her into the dawns after forgiveness became our shields, spears, and wings.
Wow. That was just so cool. And I know from talking to Emily that it took her a long time to put that video together. And I just really appreciate her letting us play that. It's a fabulous piece. She has a dedication that she sent that is in the book. And she says, I dedicate this poem to the healers of the world that understand scales will almost always be the birth of a version of war, which I have to sit and think with that sentence for a while, as she's a philosopher, she is. Sorry about the technical glitch there. I should have been on that share sound thing. Next up, though, I'm so excited for George Wiley to present his beautiful poem, Holding Your Grandchildren, the Candle Burns Quickly. Take it away, George.
Well, thank you, and thank you for letting me be part of this. Holding your grandchildren, the candle burns quickly. With the tiniest of hands and roundest of faces, they lure you in, drawing you close to feel the warmth of their heads, see the lift of their smiles, touch the wisps of their hair, enhance your own value by their smiles. You are soberly aware of the shortness of their time needing you. Hold them close, the candle of time burns quickly. With bright eyes following you, they share this new world of yours, which they deserve the best of, but it is bestowed to them soiled. The tiny hands grip your finger, and the doll-like feet jump around. You bring your best and warmest game, your graceful kindness. Hold them close. A face of purity, a mouth of smiles, the eyes are chocked with trust. Holding them minds out what is left of your purity, and you try to pass it on to them. You deign to shore yourself up with their reliance. You try to absorb some of the soft pinkness of them onto yourself. Hold them close. The candle of time burns quickly. Before the grandchildren came, you were unaware that there was a hole to fill. But they are the proof there is some reason you grew their parents. The love you bequeath them will not be in the genes, but soaked up in the hands of their grandparents. Look into their eyes, give unabashed approval, stream love at them even if you reach somewhere for it. Hold them close. The candle of time burns quickly. End of piece.
I need to unmute myself, sorry. Thank you, George. That was wonderful. Okay. It's so wonderful to hear the voices of all of you that are presenting. It just really brings your pieces alive for everybody, for us, especially for Sarah E. and me, because we've lived with your pieces for several months now putting this book together. So I'd really want to take a moment and just thank you all for being willing to present and lend us your voice. Now, we do have one presenter who can't use her voice, Jenny Callahar, and her poem Dust is so fabulous, and so Sarah E. is going to read it for Jenny. Jenny, please keep taking care of your voice and healing. All love and healing to you, and Sarah E., take it away.
And Jenny just always has such a way of capturing something in the human essence. This is no different. Dust. Leaning against the white-worn barn that had only housed tools and a four-door sedan my whole childhood, but still smelled of the long-dead family cow on damp days, I watched the empty field across the empty road, before or after crops had come or left, as wisps of wind shaped whirls of rust-brown dust into figures I was sure I recognized. They would not swirl together as if the dust figures, like memories, had sworn never to occupy the same space at the same time. A gathering of blackbirds held a meeting along the dipping metal fence, as if their weight or repeated landings there had sloped it over time, shouting disagreements, ruffling feathers at each other, each knowing they were right about what they were seeing in the rising dust. I listened, realizing how wrong I was. That plume of debris was not my mother over the stove, waving me closer to test for saltiness from her spoon. And the next was not the banana seat bicycle that had rolled me over the crisscrossing streets of my small hometown, Nor was the next image an infant in my husband's arms, his fat tears falling, falling into the maelstrom of a sudden death. No, the birds were closer to the truth, and I had fooled myself again. I turned to enter the barn for a hammer, more intent on smashing delusions than I had ever been before.
Wow, Jenny, gosh.
So powerful.
Your poems are just something else. So thank you so much for that. Boy, our next presentation isn't really a presentation. We had an image. I don't know, Sarah E., if you can show that image of the Flaming New Year cocktail, Flaming Irish New Year. But one of the recipes that came in was for a cocktail. Now, since we're live on Facebook, I don't think we should read out how to make a cocktail in case some kids are watching. But maybe, Sarah E., maybe you have the list that has the recipe, and you could put the recipe in the chat so that at least if anybody wanted to copy and paste it and try to make this delicious looking libation, they would be able to do that. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, Sarah E., but if you can, that might be a way we can sort of present it. Did you guys all catch that beautiful photo of the beautiful like glass, with the cocktail in it? It was kind of a very cool image. We were thrilled to get a cocktail recipe. So technically speaking, then, we can just move right along and have Michelle Payne, read an excerpt from her prose piece, Summer Lights. And before you read, Mish, I just want to tell you that we really enjoyed this piece a lot. It's the style of your writing, the way you laid out the prose piece is a little bit different. It's kind of unique, and it was really kind of cool, and we were really happy to get it. So away with you, Mish, and read your piece, your excerpt.
Well, thank you for those kind words, and thank you for having me. So I'm going to read an excerpt from Summer Lights. I don't like summertime. There, I said it. I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I have reasons to back it. Summer is bright and shiny and even blinding at times. It's full of light, summer lights. There are so many types, and I admire some. I highly dislike others. Number 1, the sun. It's hot. It makes me sweat. It burns me. People say to me, do you ever tan? No, I turn from white to pink, back to white. I need fake tanning lotion to achieve even a hint of summer pigment. I wear my sunglasses constantly, often indoors, because I forget I have them on. Number 2, fireworks. They're loud. They hurt my ears. I try to like them, but I don't. They're boring. I'll never forget the year my youngest daughter turned 2, and we went to a fireworks show in Cicero, where she clung to me as if her life depended on it and repeatedly murmured in my ear how much she hated them. She likes them now at age 11. I still don't. They're bombs for fun, basically. How dumb. Number 3, fireflies. They're cool. They're the nighttime version of a ladybug, non-threatening. They don't bite. They don't sting. They just flash on and off. They're consistent and silent, yet emit a natural magic that can launch just about any middle-aged person straight back to childhood. Back to a mason jar with a metal lid punched with bug breathing holes and filled with blades of grass. Several simpler summers ago. Number 4, campfire. I love the smell. I love the crackling. I love the multicolored flames. I'm not great at building them. I cheat and buy the manufactured logs. Yes, fake like my tan. I don't believe in being a fake person, but sometimes you gotta fake it till you make it. But even with those prefab logs that torch nice and easily, it's usually way too hot for a summertime campfire. Number 5, tiki torches. I'm a fan. They're festive. They serve a noble purpose in warding off the evil mosquito. However, the value of them is lost on my teenager, the oldest daughter. She fights with me about them. She says they look trashy in our yard. Thankfully, I'm at the glorious age where I'm over-caring if someone thinks something looks trashy in my yard. So I have 2 tiki torches. Number 6, the grill. I love to grill out. chicken, salmon, burgers, veggies, an occasional steak. The black charcoal burns into orange embers, hot and bright, until they turn to a dull, ashy gray. Then you know you're ready to cook. I love the smells and tastes of grilled food, one of the most redeeming things about summer, in my humble opinion. Number 7, lightning. It's generally scary. I don't appreciate a good storm like many people I know. Streaks across the sky are fine, but I don't want to see one strike anywhere close. A few years ago, a blinding bolt hit practically on top of our house at the time. Everything electrical the neighbors owned got destroyed. We were lucky and got away unscathed, but each of us jumped 3 feet out of our skin. Number 8, starlight/moonlight. They are lovely. They are mild. They glow. They're never too bright, never intense. I like them year-round, especially when there's some crazy lunar event I can witness from my porch, like a huge harvest moon. I love the fall. There is one light I'm missing this summer that's not here on my list. And if you want to find out, you'll have to read the rest in the book.
That was great. Thank you, Mish. That's such a fun piece. And I got to tell you, my daughter had the same reaction to those Cicero fireworks when she was a little kid, too. So I could relate to that piece. I think a lot of people can.
Hey, Alice,
Yes.
I now have the missing picture from before that I can share.
Oh,
very
okay.
briefly.
Sure. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Because it is worth salivating over.
It
So let's take
is.
a moment and admire this beautiful picture here.
And we should,
It was
yeah,
not only delicious looking, it was artwork.
yeah. And it was sent in with the recipe by Vivian Bell, but she did not take the photo. She gave the credit to, it's an image from liquor.com, and the photographer's name is Tim Newsog. So that's really cool. We were thrilled to, that just looks so beautiful. It's too pretty to drink. Okay. So now, next up, we have a wonderful poem by our friend Warren Sidwell called Christmas Cheer. Warren, are you there? Where are you?
I am.
Okay, there
I
you
think
are.
I'm here.
Okay, I'm trying to find everybody.
Thank you. Well, thanks for including me first off. And yeah, I wrote this because 2020 was just a dumpster fire, and I needed a reminder to myself of what's been and what can be again. So, Christmas cheer. Office parties with people you hardly know, matching the right gift wrap with the perfect bow. Package after package dropped at your front door. Nieces and nephews in sleeping bags in the middle of your living room floor. Watching your daughter's favorite movie for the 100th time. Putting the kids to bed so you can have that glass of wine. The headaches and stress are washed away by cheer. Merry Christmas to everyone. Let's do it again next year.
That was wonderful. All right. Okay, next up, I have a little bit of a, Sarah E., do you have your book handy?
Say again, I'm sorry.
Do you have your book handy? Because next
I
up,
do.
next up is Mike's Royal Crown, and for whatever reason, I don't have it in our printout of all the presentations. I think I must have lost a page in my printer or something.
Which the title again?
It's called Royal Crown. It's his poem.
Oh, yes. Oh, I love that one.
Well, good, because you're going to read it since
hooray.
since he's driving.
Right, and I loved the.
If you want to put the image up, Sandra's image goes with his poem. So
Yes.
if you guys will just let me vamp a minute, bear with you. Oh, I know what I can say while Sarah E. is getting that presentation ready. I will give Sarah E. all credit because she did the work of doing the excerpts from the longer prose pieces. By the time we're usually at that stage, I'm deep into the formatting and the layout of the book, and she just generously offered to take the time to do all those excerpts. So she did a fabulous job, and I'm so grateful for her. So a big round of silent applause for Sarah E. for the excerpting. Not an easy task. Not an easy task.
It was a pleasure doing so.
All right, so this is Sarah E. reading Michael E. Strossel's Royal Crown.
I hear there is a marker and a plot to hold his bones, not 3 miles away from where he spent summers working for Dad, pumping fuel and washing windows. Until the day they raised Royal Crown to a nickel in the machine and Daddy's ticker couldn't take it anymore. They say he struggled to fill his father's shoes. Instead of seeing the world, he worked the garage, wore a path bare through the grass and up to his daddy's stone for chats, advice, kept the old man's Chevy running smooth, but never took her out on the road. Legend has it, he never left a stranded traveler, never failed to pop the cap of a 12-ounce bottle on the counter's edge just to see a kid smile. I'm told he shuttered the shop in the 80s. In the 90s, he pulled the pumps, moved himself into the back, tinkering on an occasional carburetor, cleaning up 2 bays never used. I read in the paper he'd been dead near 2 weeks when found, heart seized, like a motor run out of oil, laid back in his lazy boy, half a bottle of RC gone flat on the table nearby. I thought of him just the other day as I drove by the old station, still empty. His daddy's Chevy rusted into the space he left it. The machine that shared iced Royal Crown faded dark and empty the day he passed. I haven't had a cold one since.
Oh, Mike, wonderful poem, wonderful poem. Sandra, perfect photo. I'm so glad that Mike asked you to submit that so that we could publish it in the book with his poem. That's just fabulous. All righty, next up we have one of our nearest and dearest, Marlene Million, to read her poem, September Harvest. And Marlene, before you read, I just want to tell you that I really love all the words, the way you put these words together in this poem really made me feel it, smell it, taste it, the whole 9 yards. So,
and I enjoyed making that.
yeah, I could tell you know, it was an intentional poem, and I love that about it. So here is Marlene with September Harvest.
September Harvest. Can you see me? Oh, am I unmuted? Okay. I remember grandmother's brown brick home, white waterfall petunias cascading over her window boxes and yellow finch chirps atop her purple cone flowers. Fruity tart aroma drifted from basement area as bushels of peaches, apples lined the floor. Nutmeg and cinnamon whirled from pot's mixture as I stirred, soothing my soul with freshness. I relished the rich blend being ladled into ball jars, setting them in a canning rack for a hot water bath. Cooled cans were stored in Grandma's cellar, and I awaited spooning and tasting her lush autumn fare.
I forgot to unmute, but yay! I was saying yay!
There it is.
Thank you, Marlene. That was beautiful.
Good to see everyone.
Okay, so next up, Bonnie, are you ready? Bonnie Cox Searle, my goodness, a consummate writer in all genres. This is a key wrapped up in a mystery inside a Nash Rambler. And again, we just love this piece. It's not excerpted because Bonnie has a knack of writing just enough for a perfect presentation. Apparently, I don't know if you did that intentionally or not, but we were like, I think that'll work. It worked perfectly.
It just happens.
There you
That's
go.
Just what happens.
You
Can
just
you hear me?
Yes, you just have the instinct for perfect presentation length. So give us your reading.
I will, but I wanted to thank you for the honorable mention, because if you're going to mention me, I would prefer that it's in an honorable way.
Well, you deserve all honors, my dear. Go ahead.
Oh, God. Okay, a key wrapped up in a mystery inside a Nash Rambler. My grandparents related to each other in mysterious ways. As a 6th grader with limited life experience, I found their interactions puzzling, and I tried to make sense of them for future reference and self-preservation. Take the day of the Nash Rambler, a key, and the question I finally worked up the nerve to ask. I was playing hopscotch in the driveway when Grandpa drove up in a brand new cream and beige 1961 Chevy Impala SS. He patted me on the head and swaggered in the house like he was Dean Martin. Half an hour later, Grandma erupted from the front door, handbag flapping on one arm and a picnic basket under the other. Bonnie Sue, get in the Rambler. We're driving to Columbus. Oh, Columbus. An hour north of Chillicothe. I was about to have an adventure. Problem was, she had never driven the car before. Grandpa drove it to his job at the paper mill, while she used the go-to-church car for her errands, a car with no pesky clutch to synchronize with the gas pedal. We jerked out of the driveway. Did Grandpa buy a new car? I asked as the car bucked. Yes, and he won't let me have a key. The Rambler reached a gear it liked and it settled down. Grandma's anger, however, bounced around the inside of the car like an errant ping pong ball. Who does he think he is, not giving me a key? I didn't know he was even thinking of buying a new car. How am I supposed to go anywhere when he's at work? I'm going to the Chevy dealership in Columbus and demand a key. Grandpa's many failings were once again brought out for review. I'd heard it all before. My stomach growled, and I wondered what might be in that picnic basket. When they finally arrived in Columbus, the Chevy dealer was as recalcitrant as Grandpa, who left with no key. As she pulled the Rambler onto US 23 for the drive back home, Grandma handed out snacks from the picnic basket. Confident now in her ability to control the car, she steered with one hand while she ate a banana and continued to provide example after example of the poor treatment she had suffered from Grandpa's behavior for the last 43 years. I stared out the car window at construction barrels on the edge of the road. The black smudge pots perched on top looked like Wile E. Coyote cartoon bombs. My mind drifted to something I had been pondering since my dad gave me the talk. The time seemed right to bring it up. Grandma, if you hate Grandpa so much, how did you have 3 children? The banana in her hand popped out of its skin and rolled under the gas pedal. The car swerved, knocking over barrels and tossing smudge pots into the ditch. Grandma pulled to the side of the road. She righted the barrels and placed each pot back into position. After she wiped the banana glops off the floor and restarted the Rambler, we juddered back onto the highway. Sometimes these things happen, she said. I couldn't tell if she was deflecting my question or making allowances for her driving. Either way, she didn't say much the rest of the way home. Her face, however, turned an interesting shade of pink. We pulled into the driveway and Grandma stormed into the house. I stayed outside until she yelled through the screen door that supper was ready. It was a quiet meal and everybody went to bed early. The next morning, Grandpa drove off in the Rambler to work and Grandma drove the Chevy Impala to Kroger. Some mysteries are never solved.
Great job, Bonnie. That was just so much fun. One of the things that I just really love about the Polk Street Review is our book and all the submissions that come in, and you have such good examples of with your submissions this year. As we get such poignancy and such humor, and you know, we cry, we laugh, it runs the gamut. Everybody's pieces just give us so much, and I think a lot of people will relate to the elements in your story. That was wonderful. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. I was glad to.
All right, next up we have Deborah J. Peterson. Miss Deborah, there she is. And she is going to read her poem, Pork Roast. And I will say, Deborah, you know we love a food poem.
Well, I was going to start off with an apology to George Wolfe, because I know that he didn't want to see food, but now he's going to have to hear about food. But before that even, I really enjoyed this year's topic, the family traditions, old and new. I mean, it was very near and dear to my heart, and and it's like you guys were peeking into my journals, to get material. But I also want to say thank you for developing this family tradition of the Polk Street Review, Alice and Sarah. I mean, every year it just gets better and better and better.
Isn't it great? Our family just grows and grows with all of you. Yeah.
Well, you guys are our parents, and I'm really, really appreciative of all that you've done in guiding us and bringing us together and offering us these opportunities. So thank you to both of you. And I'm really enjoying these presentations tonight. My goodness sakes, what wonderful artists we all have. And we're all in the same company and the same family together. And that's wonderful. So thank you. So this poem is basically a story of a family tradition that we have, and that's cooking. We have a lot of, I call them worship services in the kitchen. And the girls had their first aprons when they were, I think, probably 2.5 years old. So they're not strangers to the kitchen. So this is called pork roast. A pork roast in the crock pot, simmering to its divine, your favorite maple glaze, juicy and sublime, rubbed with cumin and ginger, browned in coconut oil, just the way you like it, no matter what the toil. Favorite side dish, yams and stuffing, oh, so dreamy. Asparagus steamed to perfection, and gravy thick and creamy. You loved this dish at 10, you loved this dish at 20. Juicy, juicy pork roast, the memories you bring aplenty. With what great kitchen times we had years ago when you were younger, our feasts a hodgepodge of trials, but always squelched our hunger. We burned some eggs and served fish raw. We didn't add some salt. We were just playing. It's the wine and not our fault. We threw cooked spaghetti on the wall to see if it was ready. Stick, then yes. Fall, then no. Joyful as confetti. That first apple pie you baked, how exciting, we almost burst. The lattice work so detailed, but the dog got there first. So here's your magic pot roast to serve your boyfriend new, whom we've yet to meet and see. What? He's vegan? Oh no, plan B will have to do.
Oh, Deborah. I love that. That's so great. What a great example of some delicious salivating food, and you could taste and smell and feel it, and then you're like, oh man, what? What fun, what fun. Oh, by the way, I got to tell everybody, I love all your chats. I've kind of been checking them every once in a while to read them, and I know Sarah E. is doing a great job answering and saying stuff in there. So thank you for chiming in for your fellow presenters here tonight. We are up to our final presenter. Can you believe it? I'm so excited to present, to announce, to bring up to the invisible podium, if you will, George W. Wolfe with Ode to the Comet Neowise. This is our Best in Book Award of Merit choice this year, and it is our tradition always to end the book launch with that piece. So George, take it away. You got to unmute yourself. Yeah. There you go.
Hey, well,
Perfect.
gee, thank you very much. First of all, I want to say, seeing that flaming Irish cocktail, I mean, it was just intoxicating looking at it, you know. and I want to thank.
I agree. I think we're all going to go to the mixing board, you know, and try to do a version of that when we're out of this Zoom.
Pardon my poetic language, but it was. Yeah, I want to thank Deborah Peterson. Oh, Deborah, put that wine down. I want to thank Deborah for getting me involved in this group. You know, she approached me 18 months ago or so, and wanted me to present at the fall retreat. And I thought there must be some mistake, but it was. I really. That's what got me involved in this group, and it was so nice to find this family of creative artists and be a part of it. And I just really appreciate all the work you're doing in making this publication possible. So thank you very much. Well, I've been always intrigued by the superstition that has surrounded comets. I don't share that superstition, but nevertheless, when I found out from my father years ago that when Halley's Comet appeared in the sky in 1910, many people panicked and so forth. And then 1997, when Hale-Bopp Comet appeared in the sky, there were some people who committed suicide, and just strange things happening around comets, you know. And a lot of times most of the time they're discovered by a person, but this particular comet was discovered by a telescope. NEOWISE stands for Near Earth Object Wide Infrared. I better get this down. Near Earth Object Wide Field Infrared Survey Explorer. That's what NEOWISE stands for. So it's a lot more complicated than Perseverance landing on Mars, just naming it. By the way, if you all saw that, wasn't that great? Anyways, so this comet was discovered by this telescope in March. And what intrigued me is that all of a sudden in March, well, what did we have? The pandemic, we had an economic downturn, we had racial unrest, we had political craziness, but I wanted to see it. So I went out, my wife and I went out in July, and I didn't think I'd be able to see it because you couldn't see it with a naked eye. You had to have binoculars. And when something is in the sky that I can't see with the naked eye, I usually can't find it. Usually I have to latch in onto it with my eyes and then take the binoculars up. But lo and behold, we went out and we found it. And so it inspired this poem. And I will read it. I will read it now. Ode to the Comet NEOWISE. You seemed innocent enough, a whisper of light against the deep sky. Holding my binoculars steady, I was lured into a magnified moment, made breathless by wonder. You floated above the northwest horizon, as if the Big Dipper's ladle had overflowed. But humanity discovered you too late, O Kyber messenger of doom. Our pandemic-infested planet is now writhing in poverty and politics, pollution and pain. The sword of your tail slices through reason, masking responsibility as you move through warped space, deceiving us into blaming you rather than ourselves. Thank you.
Well, I'm sure everybody can tell. You guys can unmute now because that was the last presentation. So feel free to chime in and interrupt me, or because I tend to talk too long. But I just want to say that I think everybody can tell why that really struck such a chord with us. Everybody's pieces somehow in this book made us feel something regarding the last year. Every single piece that came in. But your poem, there was something about that just really did that thing for us that we look for the Award of Merit, the Best in Book, that strongly believe that people are going to read this book and see that poem, and that poem's going to stick with them. You know, it's going to come up in their brains and in their hearts and souls. Not that the other submissions won't also, because they will, but that one in particular just seemed to speak to something about COVID-19 and this whole pandemic thing that we don't always say, but it is a human virus, right? I mean, we did this by, we increased the spread and all that stuff ourselves. So we do have that responsibility. And thank you for sharing the information about the name of that comet and the history of how people often have reacted to comets, I can't talk. Because that even makes your poem even that much more remarkable. So thank you so much, George. That was just such a pleasure to hear you read that for us tonight. Sarah E., what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that it has been a lovely evening. Thank you, everybody, for coming and sharing your art, supporting each other. Congratulations to everybody who was published in the book this year, whether we had time to. Spike's yaying for you.
Yes, yes. And all those, if you're on Facebook watching and you submitted, we just cannot thank you enough for submitting. Over the years, we've had, you know, people who've submitted to the Polk Street Review from the very beginning. They still submit. We've lost a few of them along the way. We've gained new submitters. I mean, it is like what Deborah was talking about. It is a family, and we love you guys. And honestly, I wish we could have a platform for every single one of you to present your pieces and all your pieces. And again, a lot of people send in more than one piece, more than one genre, more than one category, and we just love that. And we love being able to publish as many of them as we can. And I know this year the book has over 100 pieces in it, and it's just fabulous. So I'm just so excited.
I want to give a big huzzah to Alice for not only editing, but, you know, putting it on Lulu, doing the cover work. I mean, hours and hours and hours and hours of love and labor.
Yeah, well, it is a labor of love. It has been since we took it on, and we're going to continue to do this as long as we can get the money to do it. And so again, thank you to our supporters. There were people who you will see listed in the book who pre-ordered the book but didn't submit anything. And we consider those kind of people to be our donors, our supporters, and then of course our the local companies that supported and everything that bought ad space. So you know, this is how we try to get this book published every year. And so spread the word. As most of you know, our annual deadline every year is December 31st. So start spreading the word now. And I do want to ask everyone, including our Facebook audience, everyone out there, if you have an idea for a theme for the 2022 edition, send us your theme idea. And the winner this year for Family Traditions Old and New was Vivian Bell. And so she got a free copy of the book. So if you are the winner of the theme contest, you get a free copy of the book. So as long as we can afford to, to do that, I'll be honest, we're a small 501c3, all volunteer. We need money, so send in money too. But no, send in your theme ideas for the 2022 edition. And we usually announce that about I don't know, when do we usually announce our theme? Like in the summertime sometime.
It's like late summer.
Late summer, so that gives everybody a chance to think about if they want to address the theme or not. Now, the thing to remember is that the theme is always an optional prompt for people who have published with us before, who've been in the book before. If you share the information and to someone who's never submitted before, we would love for them to use the prompt, because that's a good kind of entry point for them to submit to us. So that's my little shout out for the 2022 book, when this one just launched. Rolling. Sarah E., what else?
I think that out of respect to the fact that a lot of us live online these days, I think we should probably bid you adieu and let your zoomed out brains rest. But it has been a delightful, stimulating evening, and please join us for events. So you can check us out at org.
There's Dixie. Hi, Dixie. Love you. Yes, and do go on our website because that's where you'll find information about our other annual project, our NICE project, and that is just getting underway. We're in the process of picking our 4 books for that. It's a literature-based project that's a lot of fun. So think about that. And oh my gosh, I don't even know how to say goodbye to you guys. It's just been so wonderful to have you here and to hear your voices and see your faces. Oh my goodness, wonderful. So thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you to all the artists. Thank you so much. Bye.
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 Thanks for joining us.
Sarah E., I'm not going to stop until everybody's said bye.
Sure.
That was great, don't you think? We came in pretty well.
Bye.
7:22, we went a little over. Bye, guys. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you so much. Thanks, Mike, for tuning in as you're driving down the road. Thank you, Ed, Sarah's dad. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, loyal parents.
Yes.
Thank you, loyal mother-in-law.
I know. Virtual hugs. Virtual hugs. Yeah.
Hope you're driving safely, Mike.
Well, we should probably end this
I think so.
in the live on Facebook part anyway. Okay, bye Facebook.
All right,
I stopped the live stream, so whew, yeah. That was pretty good though. I think we had a great night. What do you think?
No, I think that was great. And I think that we'll have some good things to post so people can review it. And
yeah, it might take me a while to do some editing and into certain parts and all that kind of stuff, but I'll work on that in the days to come. And yeah, I'm excited. Thank you, Sarah E. Thank you, Spike, for manning Facebook.
You're welcome.
That was helpful because good Lord knows you know what I didn't know? We talked about at the very beginning about your batteries and all that stuff. I didn't know that I had knocked my cord that charges my battery. I had knocked it out. And towards the end, my screen was getting a little dimmer. And I was like, what is going on? And then I actually got a notice that my battery was low. And I'm like, how's my battery low? I'm always on my charger, I had accidentally knocked it out. Who knew? So live and learn.
You were living on the wild side there.
Yeah, and I forgot to do the individual view for when people were speaking, but oh well.
I think it's fine.
All right, you guys. I'm gonna end the chat for everybody, or in the meeting for everybody. Thank you. Go eat. Go drink. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Mike, don't drink and drive. Okay. Bye. Bye.